All right, guys, we got a new ship to review, the Excelsior II from Star Trek Picard. So, the Excelsior II was, well, like the name suggests, it is basically a sequel to the original Excelsior. The ship first appeared in the second season of Star Trek Picard. Originally, Elnor, as a cadet, was stationed on board the ship, and then was seemingly forgotten about when the ship was destroyed in season 3 of Picard. Literally, Terry Matalas had to go on to Twitter and say, "No, Eldor's not dead," despite the fact that he kind of implicitly killed him off because we don't know where Elnor was otherwise. It's also a little funny that given that this is clearly meant to be an homage to the original Excelsior, Lower Decks did the same thing in its season with the Obina class USS Archimedes, which is also going to be in this collection that'll be releasing later on. I don't remember when exactly, but yeah, we'll get to see that later on in this series and be able to compare the two. But for now, let's get into this one. Magazine, USS Excelsior, NCC 42037, registry number that is way too low for a ship of the Star Trek Picard era, which is something I have ranted about in another video. Ooh, and there she is. Really pretty looking ship. Out of the box. Kind of light, though not super light. You can definitely feel all the metal is right here in the saucer. So the star drive section, while being pretty long, definitely very light, very plastic. Nice detail here on the saucer. Like, these are actually like raised. I don't know what these are, like transporter emitters or something like that, but that's actually raised up and painted. So that's not just a flat surface. Same thing along here. And you can't really see in this light, but these are transparent plastic inserts on the warp nacelles. At least this blue part and this red part for the Busar collectors. That's all transparent blue and red. Though this darker portion, that's painted in. That's just painted in like a gray color. I'm not sure if that's meant to be glowing blue or if that was meant to be gray like it is here. But yeah, that's how that is on this model. There, I adjusted the light. Hopefully you can get a better look at that. Yeah, that's just painted in dark gray while the rest of this is see-through plastic. There's the back end. Not much to say about that. With this model in particular, I was always the detail along this like spine portion of the ship always felt a little slapped together. Like, I don't know. I kind of like the layout of the original Excelsior more. I wish I had a larger scale model of the Excelsior from the original Eagle Moss collection to compare this to, but I do not. I only have the standard size. Now, the impulse engines, those are painted in. I'm going to try to get better lighting in there. There you go. You can kind of see that a little better with the lighting from my phone here. Yeah, those are painted in. The impulse engines are not plastic inserts, which is fine, really. I don't know how they would get plastic inserts that small in there securely. So I feel like, there's such a small detail. Painting them in, I feel like, is perfectly fine for this model. Get a look at the underside here. More detail. Again, you can see little raised portions here along the saucer, both there and there. Not bad. The main deflector here, also a plastic insert. The deflector is a bit of a darker blue than I would have expected. Like, I know the lighting in here isn't... Hold on. There, you can kind of get a idea of just how blue it is there. Yeah, even with the light shining onto it, a pretty dark shade of blue for what I would expect for a main deflector. I would have thought they would have gone for something a little closer to what they were using on the nacelles. And there is the bottom portion of it. Yeah, nice detail on here. It's a well done model. So if you're a fan of the Excelsior II, I feel like you'll probably be pretty fond of this as well. Here, get a nice close up on the name there as well. Down there. Yeah, this is a nice looking model. I'm pretty pleased with this. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Excelsior II, you'll be into this. And one more close up for the bottom side as well, just for the sake of it. And then we'll move on to the stand and then the magazine. One thing I will say about the packaging in here, I really wish, while it's in the box, I wish there was a way to get a handhold on it from the saucer section. Like, put a little gap between there and there so you can grab it right out of the box by the saucer instead of by the nacelles. Because the nacelles, the nacelles and the pylons are both made of plastic, so you kind of have to be a little gentle when taking it out of the box. So be mindful of that. Don't just go all, grabby hands after it. So because the nacelles, like that's not thick plastic there, so you don't want to be too rough there like you would with the metal end of the saucer. So yeah, I really wish they had, put some room in there to be able to, get your fingers around the saucer while still in the styrofoam rather than just forcing you to grab the very thin plastic engines instead. Oh, one thing I'm noticing is I'm getting a bit closer look at this. Misalignment on the windows, not terrible, but it's noticeable when you get a close look at it. The windows are very small, but all of these have indents on them, as you can probably see here. They don't line up quite that well, so misalignment, classic Eagle Moss problem that has once again carried over to the Fanhome collection. So overall, it's not bad looking. Like I said, the windows, they're very small. You're only going to notice that when you're like right in front of it. Like it's sitting here on the table in front of me, and I can barely tell, even after I've already seen it. So yeah, this is a solid looking model. All right, here's the original Excelsior from the Eagle Moss collection compared to the Fanhome Excelsior II. Obviously, there's going to be a noticeable size difference because these two models are in totally different scales. But I didn't really know what else to compare this to other than just other Fanhome models, which would be about the same size anyway. Yeah, I mean, the detail is nice on the Excelsior 2. Definitely, I mean, in terms of just how the Excelsior 2 looks, there's definitely an evolution in the styling between it and the original Excelsior. Yeah, if you're a fan of this design, like I said, I think you'll be into this. All right, let's get a look at the magazine now. Model out of the way. Here we go. Magazine USS Excelsior NCC 42037. Here we go. Got this little orthograph of the ship right there. That's it from the front. I still say like the ship looks kind of fat in comparison to the original Excelsior. I don't know why, but yeah, the difference in the star drive section of this one makes it a little chonky compared to the original one, in my opinion. There it is sitting in the model, though it does not lean back nearly that far. Honestly, I feel like it should lean back something more like that, though. But like I said, the way it sits, it's not bad. But yeah, just wish it's a little closer to that. I feel like it would be more secure that way. Basic information, active in 2401, length 588 meters, Captain Ben Bassett. I did not remember the captain's name being spoken in that. That may have been in season 3 when the ship was destroyed. I don't remember. Weaponry, phasers, photon torpedoes, destroyed Sol System 2402, which I don't think that was correct. I'm pretty sure it was still in 2401 when it was destroyed. I don't remember. Anyway, nice render of the ship along with some details about it. Like I said, I'm not going to be, like I've said in the past, I'm not going to be reading through the magazine entirely. I'm just going to give you a little preview of what you can see inside of it. Here we go. Decent orthographs of the model. Another render of it. This one's concept art. I believe the ship was done by John Eves. Oh, here we go. John Eves and Doug Drexler. John Eves worked together to create a new version of the Excelsior that looked at home alongside the Sovereign class Enterprise E, which I guess it does, but I don't know. I feel like Lower Decks did a better job. Earlier concept art with it. Sketch work there. Kind of neat. More sketch work. Earlier renders of the model. Here's a version of the Excelsior, which actually has the Sagan style warp nacelles on it. That's kind of interesting. So I do like the ones that got better. That I don't like. I don't like these nacelles all that much. They're too blocky. They're too TMP era style. So I'm not a huge fan of them. I like these, these curvier flowing nacelles that we got on Excelsior 2 a lot better. Nice shot there. A little bit of the 3D model there. Yeah, Drexler's 3D model. Come on, focus. There we go. Drexler's 3D model of the new Excelsior, which was handed over to the VFX team, where it was rebuilt for use on screen. That's neat. And that's it for the magazine. Overall, like I said, this is a solid model. If you're a fan of the old Eagle Moss collection or the newer Fanhome collection, I feel like this is a better example of what they've been able to do with these ships. Like, it looks good. It's not, there's no any like obvious flaws with it. Other than that, I feel like it should be leaning back in the stand a little bit more, but it's still well enough that it's not going to be like at risk of falling out on its face, kind of like the Sagan is. Again, we're always going back to how the Sagan's stand is just absolute crap, and I'm glad to see that hasn't been like a repeating trend lately with the Fanhome collection. That was always a risk with the Eagle Moss collection. I think that was just more of a fear with the Eagle Moss collection though, because of just how big the Eagle Moss collection got. And so there was, the more ships they did, the more of a risk of, oh god, maybe it's not that great. There was, but so far with the Fanhome collection, hasn't gotten that big yet. They're only doing 20 issues so far, and we're on, what is this, number 8, I think? Nope, it's number 9. But yeah, so we're not even halfway through the collection yet. I think the next one is the Dauntless from Star Trek Prodigy, which that'll be interesting. I think that's the first Prodigy ship that we will have gotten out of the collection too, so that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of the Excelsior II model here. You into it? You're not that into it? Let me know what you think down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you'd like to further support the channel, become a channel member, check out the merch store, check out the affiliate links in the pinned comment. If you're ever shopping on the Epic Game Store, be sure to use my content creator code STU1701. Any of these things really help me out, and I really do appreciate it. Either way, though, thank you so much for watching. My name's Stu, and I will see you guys next time.